South Korea's surfing scene is riding a historic wave of success, and at the centre of it all is Kanoa Hee-Jae Palmiano. At this year's Asian Surfing Championships in India, Kanoa made history as the competition's first ever double champion, winning a gold both in the men's open and junior divisions. His victories also secured Korea full qualification for next year's Asian Games, where surfing will be one of the most closely watched events. Born in Gangneung to a Korean mother and a Filipino-Canadian father, Kanoa has spent his life between Korea, Canada and the Philippines, and now trains in the South Korean surf town of Yangyang. At just 17, he's already ranked number 1 in Korea, a rising star in Asia, and has his sights set on becoming a world-class surfer representing Korea on the global stage. Today, he joins us to talk about his recent victories, his journey growing up across cultures, and his vision for the future of Korean surfing. Hello, Kanoa.
Hello.
Now, firstly, a huge congratulations on becoming the first double champion in Asian Surfing Championships history. How did it feel to win both the men's open and junior categories?
Thank you so much. Coming into that event, my goal was just to show the world my surfing, and I'm super happy that my surfing was able to get me 2 gold medals in the open and junior category.
Wow, you really surpassed your goal. With your victory,
Yeah.
the Korean national team was able to finish second overall in the men's division at the Asian Surfing Championship held in India last month. And this marks the first time the Korean national surfing team has won a medal on the international stage. What does this victory mean for you personally and also for the Korean surfing community?
Yeah, personally, it helped me prove to myself that I am able to compete with the best surfers in Asia and also show the world that Korea has good upcoming surfers and we're a strong upcoming surfing country.
Now, at the Surfing Championship, which also served as an Asian Games qualifier, Team Korea claimed both men's and women's spots on offer. And having already secured 1 place each last year, Korea can now send 2 athletes per gender to the 2026 Asian Games surfing event. Kanoa, what are your objectives for the Asian Games and how are you preparing for them?
Um, my goal in the Asian Games is to win a gold medal, and I'm preparing by try my my plan is to travel to different parts of the world and compete with higher level competition.
Now, you've just described how you're preparing for the upcoming Asian Games, but could you tell our listeners a little bit about your typical day-to-day training? You train mostly in Yangyang in the northeast of the country.
Yeah, so if there are waves, I train at my hometown called Yangyang, and if there aren't any waves, I travel to the wave pool 3 hours away from my home.
And so, uh, on average, how often are there waves and not waves in Yangyang?
It depends. In the summertime, we could go even a month without any waves. So in
Okay.
the summertime, I usually travel abroad and find different waves. But in the wintertime, it can get really consistent and we can get maybe five days in a week that we can surf.
For our listeners, maybe who are not super clear, winter in Korea can be pretty cold. When you're surfing in winter, is there special gear that you have to wear?
Yeah, in the wintertime, we have to wear a 5 mil wetsuit, a hood, boots, and gloves, and that's really challenging, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Right, gotta be prepared. I want to go back to
Yeah.
the start briefly. Tell us how you got started surfing.
My family really loves the beach, and so we would always go to the beach and play around. My dad would push me into small waves on my soft top. But in Korea, because in the wintertime it gets really cold, it was really hard to surf every day at a young age. So it was just maybe a family beach day once in a while. But at 10 years old, we moved to the Philippines, and that's where I really fell in love with surfing and was able to surf every day.
And do you remember a certain turning point in your life where you decided that you wanted to pursue surfing professionally?
Yeah, after coming back from Philippines, I did a couple contests back here in Korea, and I showed myself I am able to compete with the best surfers here in Korea, and I really enjoyed doing it. So that's how um, s- I wanted to pursue this dream.
Compete and dominate, it sounds like, from your recent successes. Now, maybe you could tell us a bit about your family. How important have they been in your journey?
My family is everything. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to do anything I have today. And they've been supporting me since the very beginning, and I'm really grateful to have them.
Now, you've grown up between Korea, Canada, and the Philippines. How has that multicultural background shaped your identity, not only as a person, but as an athlete as well?
Yeah, growing up in a multicultural family, there were some challenges, but it has helped me deal with different types of cultures and people when traveling around the world.
And as a mixed race Korean, you've talked about before sometimes feeling different, but also that you've always been treated as a Korean. What does representing Korea on the global stage mean to you?
It means so much to me. I'm really happy and grateful to be able to uh, represent my country on the global stage.
Now, surfing in Korea is still seen as a relatively smaller sport. From my understanding, it's only been around since the late 1990s, but it's starting to grow. It's starting to get more attention because of people like you, athletes like you, and your success. From your perspective as a young surfer, what's the most important thing for growth? Is facilities, recognition, or something else? And what kind of recognition or support do you think would make the biggest difference for you and the surfing community here in South Korea?
I think right now the most important thing is we need financial support from our country so that us athletes are able to travel to different places and waves to get different experiences and get better as surfers.
Surfing in Korea doesn't have, because of its relatively new history, doesn't have many professional mentors to look up to. How do you think that affects young surfers like yourself?
Yeah, that's a really challenging part because there aren't any surfers to look up to. So a lot of us young surfers have traveled abroad to look for teachers and look up to surfers from other countries.
And where do you see South Korea's surfing scene in the next 10 years? And maybe what role do you hope to play in that?
I think in the next 10 years, South Korea will probably be one of the top countries in Asian surfing and also in the world stage.
So, finally,
Okay.
before we finish up, I just want to ask about your personal long term goals. And maybe if you have any message for young Koreans who might see your success and be inspired to try surfing for themselves.
Um, right now, my biggest goal right now is to win a gold medal at the Asian Games, but my long-term goals are to surf in the Olympics and qualify for the WSL Championship Tour.
And if you had a message for young Koreans watching you and maybe wanting to maybe just even try surfing for the first time, what would that be?
Yeah, surfing is one of the most free sports out there, and it's what I enjoy most doing, and hopefully you guys all can try out surfing
I
and
think
have
I'll
fun.
I'll give it a try. I'm going to take you up on that advice. We'll be watching closely as Kanoa and Team Korea prepare for the 2026 Asian Games and beyond. For now, congratulations again, Kanoa, and best of luck. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.